Yeah, your instincts are right. Taken as written, his argument is weak, internally inconsistent, and legally sloppy. I'll be blunt and systematic. Number one, he mischaracterizes registry obligations from the start. Open quote, the conditions of registry enforcement imposed upon him rendered any such effort unstable. Close quote. That framing is misleading. Registry conditions are not discretionary hardships imposed after the fact. They are known, mandatory consequences of the plea he voluntarily accepted. Courts are crystal clear on this point. Sex offender registration is a collateral consequence, but it is still a foreseeable and enforceable legal obligation. Difficulty complying unconstitutional enforcement. If he wanted fewer constraints, the moment to negotiate that was before pleading guilty, not years later via civil rights rhetoric. Number two, the 30-day re-registration claim is almost certainly false or incomplete. This is the most fragile part of his narrative. Missouri law does allow frequent in-person reporting, especially for Tier 3 offenders, unstable or temporary housing, changes in residence or status. Missouri has long required periodic in-person verification, and agencies are permitted to require more frequent verification when housing is transient, treat month-to-month leases as non-permanent residences, re-verify when housing lacks fixed tenure housing. So his claim that the 30-day requirement had no statutory basis is almost certainly wrong or selectively presented. And here's the kicker, open quote, if he was on a month-to-month lease, he was by definition in unstable housing. Close quote. That alone justifies increased reporting frequency. Time of three. The no written explanation argument doesn't save him, Frank. He leans heavily on, open quote, no written explanation, regulation, or statutory provision was provided, close quote. That's not how administrative law works. Agencies are not required to hand offenders a legal memo every time they apply a statute. If the statute authorizes discretion, and Missouri's does, oral notice is sufficient. Failure to understand or accept the explanation, lack of authority. Courts routinely reject this exact argument. Number four, his housing story collapses under scrutiny. You nailed this point. Open quote, how can he be on a month-to-month lease if he's conducting trade for rent? Close quote. That's a fatal inconsistency. Trade for rent arrangements are typically informal, often off-lease, frequently non-compliant with housing codes, commonly viewed by registries as temporary or unstable. So either, one, he wasn't actually on a lease, or two, he misrepresented the nature of his housing, or three, the arrangement was so unstable that monthly re-registration was entirely reasonable. Any of those destroys his claim of arbitrary enforcement. 5. The constructive impossibility theory is overstated and unsupported. Courts do recognize impossibility arguments, but only where compliance is literally impossible, not inconvenient, expensive, or burdensome. Here, monthly reporting is not impossible. Many states require weekly reporting. Missouri's requirements are not among the most severe. His claim boils down to, open quote, I couldn't keep up with it, close quote. That is not a constitutional violation. Number 6, his case citations are being abused. He cites Farish, KCNL, Excitement Video, FCC v. Fox. These cases stand for general interpretive principles, not a blank check to invalidate registry enforcement. None of them prohibit frequent reporting, invalidate discretionary administrative requirements, support a JERC 1983 claim absent proof of intentional discrimination or selective enforcement. This is law school level string citing, not serious constitutional pleading. Number 7. The 18 U.S.C. Backer 241 and 242 reference is borderline frivolous, invoking criminal civil rights statutes without intent, conspiracy, racial or class-based animus, clear deprivation of a recognized right, is a red flag. Courts hate this. It signals overreach, not sophistication. 8. He fundamentally misunderstands interstate registry law. You're absolutely right on this point. Each state has independent statutory authority, is not bound by Illinois' practices, can impose more restrictive verification, does not owe him continuity or leniency. Interstate relocation is his burden, not the state's. Bottom line, no sugarcoating. This section reads like a grievance narrative, written to sound constitutional, but unsupported by statute, precedent, or coherent facts. If challenged, it would likely be dismissed for failure to state a claim, lack of factual plausibility, qualified immunity, failure to show arbitrary or discriminatory enforcement. If you want, I can rewrite this section into a fact-checked, legally accurate rebuttal, draft a line-by-line takedown suitable for filing, or help you annotate where his claims are provably false or misleading. Just tell me how hard you want to swing.